Throughout all of this, my husband's work life was complicated. His mom's company sold, so he started working at a wedding venue. He'd run bar on weekend weddings and do groundskeeping work at the venue during the week off and on. It meant that I'd be working full-time, 9 to 5, not including the 1.5-hour commute, Monday through Friday. And he'd be working 12-hour or more shifts over the weekend and do very little during the week. If I asked to do something, go out to dinner, take a walk, visit some colleagues that I was becoming friendly with and hoping to make friends with, visit my own family that happened to be around, he was always busy on weekends, and he was too tired during the week. I felt very isolated and alone. We already had one dog and cat, but the dog was my husband's, and he refused to let me do anything with her because she was his dog. So I got a dog for myself and adored him. I took my dog everywhere, and while it wasn't the best dog in the world, he was my dog and my buddy. My husband hated my dog. He constantly put him down, called him stupid, insisted he was my responsibility and mine alone. If my dog threw up in the middle of the night and my husband noticed it while going to the bathroom, he would wake me up and tell me to clean up my dog's mess. If my dog chewed garbage, it was my dog and my problem. I would always take care of things if his dog caused trouble, but my dog was my responsibility. And yes, when he was upset, he did hit or throw my dog across the room. I excused this behavior because he would always tell me he didn't hit the dog that hard and that he had to be an alpha and it wasn't really harmful because he never hit me. What? But over time, I was very aware of the fact that my husband was becoming angrier and angrier. And I would be doing what I could not to make him mad and worried about what would be the next thing that would set him off. You are in an abusive relationship.
There you go. Definition right there.
My husband would continue to say he hated his job, but when it came to looking for other jobs, he would only submit one application at a time and wait to hear back rather than doing batch submissions. He refused to let me look at his resume, even though I consistently always was hired very quickly when I transitioned to increasingly more high-paying jobs to try to cover our bills. He would create businesses, I would cover bills and try to manage things and always offer support. His businesses continued to fail because he just never did anything to actually get out and market himself appropriately. So he'd continue working at the wedding venue, but complain non-stop about it. It was exhausting. Time went on and politics became politics. And after Trump was first elected president, my husband decided he didn't want to stay in the country anymore and we should think of immigrating. He told me that the best way to get a visa was to be a student and suggested I could finally go to graduate school so we could start an immigration process elsewhere. I was ecstatic and looked up all the foreign universities that had programs I really wanted to take. He vetoed almost all of them. Leave him and then go to those foreign universities. He vetoed almost all of them, explaining where he wanted to live and what lifestyle he wanted. No cities, no big infrastructures. He wanted to stay rural. He selected the area he wanted to move to. And I said that the universities there had only course-adjacent things to the topic that I wanted to study, medieval history. There were history programs, but nothing I had originally been interested in. He insisted, though, and since it felt like the only way to both move and get the degree I wanted, I agreed to apply. I was accepted at both schools I applied to, and we selected one school and we moved. I was given a full ride for the university, but because I wasn't working, I took out a student loan to cover my living expenses over the 2 years to get my MA. My husband said he would look for work. While all of this was going on, my best friend and I continued to be very close. And my husband and her started to get close as well. Oh no! We'd play online video games together and chat constantly. But I noticed in the year before we moved out of the country that she started talking to me less and less, and to him more and more. Because of the time difference, I would be working while she was off work in France. He'd be home during the weekdays, and so they'd start playing video games together. She stopped texting me during my workday because she was playing games with him. I mentioned I felt sad because, hey, you're my friend and I'm working a receptionist job. It would be nice to have someone to talk to while waiting for a phone to ring. But I was also of the belief that it wasn't fair to monopolize anyone's time, and if she and my husband were friends, that was good, right? We can all be friends together. And since I trusted them both, bad idea, then it didn't matter if they enjoyed spending time with each other. I was just being jealous for no reason. Still, I started to feel left out. Yeah, rightfully so. My friend also was having personal issues with her lady parts. I won't go into detail here, but she would discuss them with me in detail for a while, and I would try to comfort her, but after a while I felt very uncomfortable with her describing the specific details of her parts to me, and I very awkwardly eventually asked her not to discuss it with me. My husband felt it was unfair that I was withdrawing my support from her when she needed that support. I think she needs a gynecologist.
Okay. The title says, let's see. What does the title say? My ex-husband left me for my best friend. Yes. So this is an ex. This is an ex-husband. Okay. So, I mean, guys, notice the patterns, right? Notice the patterns. Women blame their ex-husbands or whatever their exes, for their failures in life, right? Like notice how she's saying, I have a miserable life because of my husband, right? I was supposed to do this, I was supposed to go to school, this and this and this and that, but my husband, right? And first of all, ladies, here's what I want to ask, right? Where do you get these people? Like all these weird people. Like your husbands are weird people, bro. Like why do you even choose these type of guys? Is it because you love them, or is it because of connection or stuff like that? I don't know, bro, but I really want to know. Ladies, let me know in the comments. Why do you always choose people? And don't say I didn't know, because that's your like that's how you get a pass in society. I didn't know that he was like that. He didn't show me his true colors when we met. No, I mean, if a person is abusive, that person is not gonna wait to put a ring on your finger and then start abusing you. Like he's just gonna show you, like probably in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks that he's a type of a person who likes abusing women. He's gonna show you that. But unfortunately, a lot of you ladies are so toxic to a point where you can deal with that. Like you don't mind being in a relationship and being abused. And I'm not saying all women are like that, right? I know there's women like that, they're not gonna put up with that, right? But and those women who are not gonna put up with the abuse, they're not like, they don't even date those guys. They don't even give those guys a chance, because they can pick them up like that. They can pick up their their signs and their attitude and everything, right? But toxic women, they just be in a relationship with those people, bro. And later on in life, they start blaming, those people, why they never made it in life. Because all I hear about this story is, I'm here because of my husband, or because of my ex-husband. What my ex-husband did to me, it was unfair, right? It's always like I'm just looking at the patterns, guys. You know what I mean? Because I react to these videos all the time, and I watch these videos all the time. And one thing I've picked up is, I've never heard a woman saying, this is what I did and this is what I didn't do in a relationship, and this is the reason why we're no longer married, because of me. I've never heard that. You will never hear that, bro. Women and accountability, dog, they don't go together. Accountability is definitely kryptonite to women. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, that's it for today. My name is RJ Godfella, and this is the RJ Godfella Chess. Now, if you like this type of content, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. Peace, I'm out.